Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Stunning Starflowers Stamp Set Layering Guide video. So to start with, I am going to be starting with the A1 stamp. Now this is the base for the largest of the flowers in the set, and for this one I'm going to be using the pink diamond to ink this one up. I'm then going to move on to the A2 layer. Now this one I'm going to line up with that center first, and then just make sure that the tips of the petals kind of line up with the tips of the petals of the one that we've just stamped. For this one I'm going to be using the Pinkalicious ink, so again lining up that center and the tips of the petals for this one here. Once that's done, I'm then going to move on to A3, and again I'm going to be lining up that center portion first and then the tips of those two petals that we have right at the top. For this layer I'm going to be using the Rubellite ink, so I'm going to ink that up and then pop that back into place, again lining up that flower center first and then those top two petals that you can see. I'm then going to move on to A4. Now for this one, again, I'm going to start off with lining up that center portion that's not going to stamp, and then the tip of the little petal that you can see at the top, the one that's on the right. For this one, I'm going to be using the Razzleberry ink. Now this is going to add some really dark shading to the image that we have stamped here. Again, line up that center and the tip of that top petal on the right. I'm now going to be taking the A5 layer, and this is going to add some really dark shadows. For this one, I'm going to be using the Cosmic Berry. Again, I'm lining up the center first and then just the tip of that top right petal there. Now for the flower center, I'm going to stamp the stamen first, and for this one, I'm going to be using Chamomile, and this is just going to fit in the center where we haven't stamped before. I'm then going to take A7, and this is going to add a little bit of a darker spot to parts of the stamen, and I'm going to be using the Marigold ink for that one there. I'm then going to move on to the second of the flowers, so this is B1 layer, so this is the base of the smaller flower. For this one I'm going to use the same colour as before, so I'm going to be using the pink diamond for that layer there. I'm then going to take B2, and this is just going to fit within the layer that we've just stamped. So I'm just lining up the outline of this one here. And for this one, I'm going to be using the Pinkalicious ink for that one. Again, line up that center and make sure all of the little tips of the petals are within the one that we've just stamped previously. I'm then going to move on to B3. Again, I'm lining up that flower center and then those two top petals and then the bottom edge of the flower. For this one, I'm going to be using the Rubellite ink. Again, just lining everything up before I do stamp this one down into place. I'm then going to be using the B4 layer. For this one, I'm lining up that flower center first and then just around the tips of the top petal and then the bottom edge of the flower. For this one, I am going to be using the Razzleberry ink to add that really beautiful dark shading to this one. Then for the final image layer, which is B5, I'm going to line up that top petal there and then the center piece. So for this one, I'm going to be using the Cosmic Berry ink to add that really dark shading to this one. Once that one has been stamped, I can then move on to the flower center. So for the flower center, I'm going to use the same colors as before. So I'm going to be using Chamomile for the base, and that's just going to fit within that flower there. And then I'm going to take the little dots that are going to add that darker kind of centerpiece to the stamen, and I'm going to be using Marigold for that one. Now that is all of the layering complete. We really do hope that this video helps, and thank you so much for watching. See you again soon. Bye bye.